Juicy news in the world of chess means I'm back and I'm here with some breakfast news for you. A top chess player has been expelled from a classical tournament for violating anti-cheating measures, and I figured we'd read the article together and then I'll share a few of my thoughts. Just on chess.com/news over here, and just a few hours ago, I saw this headline: Shevchenko expelled from Spanish team championship after phone found in toilet. 22-year-old grandmaster Kirill Shevchenko has been expelled from the 2024 Spanish team championship with his draw against GM Bassem Amin in round 1 and win over GM Francisco Vejo in round 2 turned into losses. When Shevchenko's regular absence from the board aroused suspicion in round 2, a locked phone was found in the toilet, with arbiters claiming a link of the phone to Shevchenko based on handwriting and behavior. The 2024 Spanish Team Championship Honor Division, taking place in the North African Spanish city of Melilla from October 12th to 18th, has been shaken by a scandal after Shevchenko, playing for CA CIA Integrant Collectius, was expelled from the tournament. Shevchenko, who was born in Ukraine and has since switched to represent Romania, is the world number 69. Now, that's a very lucky number, and became a grandmaster at the age of 14 years and 9 months. His greatest achievements include winning the 2021 European Team Championship with Ukraine, as well as the individual Lindora Abbey Blitz in Riga in the same year, where he topped the table ahead of grandmasters Caruana and Erigaisi. Chief arbiter Oscar Bruno de Prado Rodriguez summarized his decision, firmly believing, and in light of the evidence gathered throughout the investigation, that this player has made use of the mobile phone during the game, in addition to ignoring my request to notify me when he left the room. In breach of FIDE rules, I decide to impose the following sanction: to forfeit 2 games played in round 1 and in round 2, based on Article 12.8, which prohibits the use of mobile devices. The 2 opponents in round 1 and 2 win their games. To expel Kirill Shevchenko from the competition, as it is considered a very serious infringement based on Article 19.9.9. A complete report with all the evidence will be submitted to the FEDA Technical Committee of Arbiters and the FIDE Ethics Committee. The decision explains that an investigation was sparked by Vallejo complaining to the arbiter that his round 2 opponent, Shevchenko, was spending too much time away from the board. The arbiter raised the question with Shevchenko, who said he had a problem and had to visit the toilet. The arbiter reminded the player that it was necessary to ask permission to visit the toilet, located outside the playing hall in a common area with 2 cubicles and 3 urinals. The visits continued, with the arbiter asking a member of the organizing committee to investigate. He saw Shevchenko visiting an individual cubicle and there found a new mobile phone with a handwritten note: "No toques. El teléfono se dejó para que el huésped contestara por la noche." Don't touch. This telephone has been left so the owner can answer it at night. There's a photo of the team, and Kirill is right over here in the Spanish Team Championships. The toilet was locked, with a cleaner revealing that a similar phone had been found there the day before and left unclaimed. The arbiter says that other members of the organizing committee then observed as Shevchenko entered the bathroom, saw the toilet was closed, and waited for some time before leaving instead of using a free toilet. This happened more than once. After the round, the arbiters compared the handwritten note to Shevchenko's score sheets for rounds 1 and 2 and found similarities in the ink and handwriting. He also noted the phone's time zone was 1 hour ahead of Spain's. That may hint at the time zone in Romania. When challenged on the details, with the help from teammate Grandmaster Daniil Yufa as an interpreter, Shevchenko denied everything. I won't read that one in Spanish, but we have a statement there from the team. The arbiters note that 2 more complaints were received. Grandmaster Jose Carlos Ibarra Jerez, representing his teammate Amin, notes that Amin had previously privately noticed Shevchenko's absences from the board during round 1. Amin told Chess.com he was still shocked and explained, "For me, I would say things started to get strange at move 6. He played his move and left the playing hall for more than 10 minutes, and this was repeated many times in the next moves. I thought he had some stomach problems. But at some point, I decided to go out to see where he is, and he was standing outside the toilet room. And when he saw me, he went back to the playing hall. And then at some point in the game, he stopped going out till the game was finished. Asked how it affected him during the game. Amin said, "Generally, I try not to think about it too much that someone is maybe cheating because then you can't really play. When it happened many times, it was really not good. Especially that when he came back to the board, he would play very fast and very good." Vallejo also submitted analysis of the game he lost to Shevchenko, though it's noteworthy that for much of the game, Shevchenko would not have had access to a phone if he had been using a phone in the toilet. You can play through the 2 games below. And again, this is on the chess.com/news front page. The forfeit loss for Shevchenko will change the score, but not the result of his team's 4.5 win in round 1. But the round 2 3-3 draw will now turn into a 4-2 loss. Chess.com has reached out to Shevchenko for a comment. His team captain, Jose Antonio Garcia Domingo, preferred not to comment at this time. So let's discuss this. It's one of the biggest, highest profile cases there's been in chess, based both on the fact that Shevchenko is a top-rated grandmaster playing pretty important events the last few years. He's young. It's a classical event, and that he got kicked out, expelled, as opposed to accusations and investigation, time taken, and this is, instead of that, after just 2 games, the organizers felt strongly enough about the events that occurred to make the decision to kick him out, and that affects the team that he's on and their future games. The whole tournament's going to be in the media, so the organizers must feel pretty strongly, and clearly some players do as well, because there's a lot of players at the event cited in this article. I've played in this tournament a few times. I used to live in Spain, and this is one of their marquee events on the calendar year. It's organized professionally. The arbiters are good, but it's not the highest security event, which is normal in chess. Most events are not super high security, except for the official FIDE, like World Championship cycle events. It's just not practical from, organizers don't have the resources, the scale to have all the technology and volunteers to manage and protect and secure everything down. So absolutely, it's possible in most events to attempt things, or in this case, we're talking about installing something in a bathroom the day before type of thing, maybe. That's all possible in most chess tournaments. So yeah, I've played in a tournament. I definitely don't think the organizers it's in their interest whatsoever to do this. And this is different than just players going on a witch hunt. My personal info, I don't have any. Shevchenko's quite a bit younger. He's from a younger generation. Haven't played him over the board. And I haven't heard rumors in this case about him in particular. So it's not like a Hans Niemann case where there's some rumors floating around between players, but also some people just maybe, he rubbed them the wrong way on a personal level, which doesn't always, mean it has anything to do with the professional level, but it's not like the players in this article are all out to get him because they don't like him personally. I haven't heard anything like that. This all sounds like, to me, it's related to what's happening at the event contextually, not a witch hunt and personal biases. Although, I don't play as much these days, so maybe there's something else happening, but it's a lot of organizers, different players, different backgrounds, all referenced in this article. And it just leads to the big topic, right? Cheating in chess and the paranoia that we currently live in. I talk pretty openly about it. I've had Kramnik on the channel for hours. I covered some other cases, especially the Hans case. And I think there's, I like to have open dialogue about it, no matter where you stand. Someone like Kramnik who feels very strongly about cheating in chess and is naming, close to naming individuals and calling them out without, you know, all the information that maybe the organizers, like in this case, had, but also just, some people who think it's way overblown and that we should be way more careful about it. So wherever you stand there, but I personally think, and I think I mentioned this before, I think there's cheating in chess, online and over the board, from strong players, from titled players, and it's I know it's happening, but I don't know where. There's just To me it's just pretty simple. There's more players than there used to be. Technology's improved. There's more incentives and resources in certain areas in chess. Uh, in certain areas, there's fewer resources, less money to go around, which causes people to maybe be even more desperate. So it kind of goes both ways there. But no matter what, I think it's happening more than before because yeah, of this larger player base and how it's easier to cheat in certain situations. And because I think that's the case, I understand why there's players that are more paranoid than me, because I think it'd be very hard to adopt a mentality where you just don't think anyone's cheating. From um, if you're a professional player, um, we've been around for a long time. You've seen it happen before, and it's just not going to disappear. It's not like chess players are the most ethical, moral people, whatever, in the world. No, I mean, it's just like any other group, and you see that elsewhere. And in the case of chess, technology certainly makes it more complicated. So in this particular case, we need to wait for more details, but organizers stepping in, other players contributing, there is way more of a basis here than there are in probably many other, recent situations where you might just read something on Twitter or, some suspicions, some rumors are floating around. This one certainly has more concrete evidence, and that means it should be taken much more seriously in all aspects. Um, I think that the best cheaters would be strong players. That's not too controversial. Also, the best people at detecting suspicious activity are also going to be really strong players. Um, I don't think you should only consult like grandmasters. There's biases, there's just bad logic, but I think a combination of data, like the algorithm data, all that compiled, and consultation with top players is probably going to yield the best results, um, compared to just using data only or just consulting players. And because I think that's the case, I think it's important to have that a little bit of open dialogue about cheating and that there is cheating, because if you kind of suppress the idea that you can't talk about it unless you're sure, the burden of proof is really, really high. In chess, it's really hard to prove if in complicated cases that I just don't think that's practical at all. That the bit of human element and intuition, it doesn't have to be public witch hunts, but that there's still absolutely human element, and that the topic should continuously be discussed, and we're all working towards some similar goals there. Um, so yeah, this isn't going to help that in terms of the people that are really adamant about how widespread the cheating is. I think there's cheating happening within chess, but it's not like I have like personal witch hunts or like ideas, because I'm just not playing tournaments as much these days. Over the board, I don't play professionally, and it was referenced in this article by Grandmaster Min. Really nice guy, by the way. Played him a lot. He says, generally, I try not to think about it too much that someone is maybe cheating, because then you can't really play. That applies to him, and that applies, I think, to pretty much everyone here. If you're playing online, whatever your rating is, and you think your opponent's cheating, it affects not only your play, but your enjoyment of the game. So I try not to assume and think people are cheating. And then at the very back of my head, from a broad perspective of just discussing chess, I know strong players are cheating, but I try not to think about it too often, because then I'll go crazy. But this case would add to recent cases and stand out because of how strong Shevchenko is, how high rated he is, how prestigious the tournament is, and how many people have kind of contributed to what took place in the tournament and the decision by the organizers. Different players commenting to chess.com, complaining to the organizers, along with the organizers taking severe action. That stands out. There was a case a few years ago. Grandmaster Igor Rausas was caught. He got the grandmaster title legitimately a long time ago, and it was stripped after he was found guilty. It's a sad case. He passed away, I think, last year. It's a sad case for various reasons, but it's like he just kind of threw away, all he had done in chess previous to that, and it's hard. I don't know, just because there's not enough money in chess or something. Something led him to do that. There was another Toiletgate scandal in the past, World Championship between Kramnik and Topalov, cheating accusations. It was called Toiletgate. That was about 20 years ago. That was really juicy, but chess wasn't as mainstream, so a lot of people here watching this wouldn't have known about it unless you dig it up yourself. But it feels like post-COVID, there's been more cheating or suspicions of cheating. The players are way more paranoid, and it feels pretty bad overall. And part of the reason I'm saying that right now is we have, even like today, I'm hearing frequently, every month, that so and so top player might be cheating. So there are, whatever you read in the news, whenever a case like this gets blown up, there's way more behind the scenes where like everyone's like on edge, and that extends to like top players, except like nobody's accusing Magnus of cheating, but pretty much outside of that, like it's gotten to a point where, yeah, I mean, obviously that's not ideal and it feels pretty toxic, but because I believe that there's cheating happening in chess, and probably a lot of the other guys, like you're looking for an outlet to that, and when you're playing all the time, then you start attaching names to those thoughts. I'm not playing tournaments all the time and whatnot, and try not to think about it, but it's a crazy time. It's a crazy time with chess. Players are improving like crazy. Most players are not cheating, but because there's this like very small but growing amount, probably because the game has grown, it puts us in this weird spot. And I was shocked to read this article today. That's classical chess. That's in person. It's a team event. It's a young like strong player. If the young strong players potentially are doing it, all hell's gonna break loose. But we're gonna wait for more details. Thanks for watching. Until next time.